Okay, hello everybody. Welcome to Korean Atlanta Mentorship. And before we get started on the topic of this video, I just want to quickly plug live stream that we're going to have on this Saturday, March 30th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Eastern. So the live stream is called Leadership 101, exclusively for our YouTube channel members. We always have a random topic that we pick and go deep diving into. And the reason I'm talking about this is because I think there's a crisis of leadership in society, right? I mean, think about Boeing, right? That those airplane doors falling off. Why did that happen? It was a crisis of leadership. And I'm just going to talk about a few things that we can do to stand out as leaders and be actually good leaders. In fact, if we just do the opposite of what 90% of leaders do, we're just going to stand out. I'm going to talk about that, right? Again, exclusively for members. If you want to be a member of the YouTube channel, really easy. Just click join. It's only 99 cents a month. You get these emojis and access to the live stream once a month as well as the recordings from previous months. Okay. So now let's get on to the topic of this video. The topic of this video is a cash flow real life study of over $9,500. And why do I say it's a real life case study? Because it's my case study, meaning that this is my latest HELOC statement. And I was actually kind of blown away too. In fact, let me get out my calculator, right? So let's go ahead and open this up right here. Got my calculator. So take a look at the top line. 13 grand worth of payments, and then the purchase and charges is 4 grand. And this is just basically what velocity banking is in a nutshell. All your income into the line of credit, expenses out, rinse and repeat over and over again. And as you can see, I kind of already done the calculation here, but let me just do it one more time. Okay, let me just do it one more time. So the top line is 13. So let me just kind of do this right here. 13715.76, right? Minus 4125.23. And as you can see, that's a cash flow of over $9,000, 9,500. It's crazy. I blow my own mind because, to be honest, I don't really keep track of these things that as detailed as I do. And I'm going to tell you my system of tracking whether velocity banking works or not. If this number on top is significantly larger than this number here, if the payments that I'm putting, my entire paycheck is significantly higher than the purchase and credits, then I know it's working, right? And it's funny because I do all these spreadsheets and I'm not really that detailed with my own scenario or in my own real life scenario, right? But just to kind of demonstrate the velocity banking concept, just by looking at the summary, again, entire paycheck into line of credit, expenses out, we get a little bit of interest charge, and then that's the new balance, right? And I don't know why people think this is so complicated. It's so simple. It's so simple. And I'll go ahead and demonstrate this. And again, this is an over 9,000 cash flow. And I don't know if you ever watched Dragon Ball, right? If you never watched Dragon Ball, there's this famous meme of one of the bad guys who turns into a good guy who's like, it's over 9,000. And that's what the cash flow is, right? Anybody watch Dragon Ball here? He goes, it's over 9,000. I got to make like a t-shirt with this guy on it, Vegeta, and it's like, Vegeta, what does the scouter say? The cash flow's over 9,000. It's over 9,000. All right, so let's go ahead and just do a quick demo of how this would work in real life. Again, I don't have all my numbers, so I'm just going to use random numbers because I love going through this velocity banking use case scenarios. And again, what do we need to do velocity banking? What is velocity banking? All it is a simple debt payoff strategy using lines of credit as your main tool, right? So if you have debts, this is a perfect strategy for you. Well, I won't say perfect. Maybe it might not work for you. But if you don't have any debts, this strategy is definitely not for you because it's a debt payoff strategy. Okay. So let's go ahead and here you see the two requirements. You need a budget. So the budget, the whole purpose of it is to figure out what debts we're going to attack. Because every debt that we have is essentially a hole in our cash flow bucket, right? The more debt that we pay off, the more we've patched up or fixed our cash flow bucket. no water leaks, right? So we have 4 debts, okay? And then we're going to use a line of credit as our main operating account. So the only difference between the average American and the Velocity Banker is what is your main operating account, okay? For the average American, it's a checking account. We pay things out of a checking account. For the Velocity Banker, it's our line of credit. And we're going to assume 2 things. Same income, no savings, right? Mind blown. Most people are afraid to have 0 savings. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this, right? So let's just assume that we have access to a $15,000 personal line of credit. And I know what some of you are thinking. Nobody just has a $15,000 personal line of credit laying around, but I do. Why? Because I got the credit before I need it. And banks don't lend money to people who need it, right? It's something you got to be aware about. Now, think of this as kind of like a credit card, but we can use it to pay anything, right? I can use it to pay credit cards, auto loans, mortgages. Can you do with that credit card? No, you got some limitations in there, right? A little bit harder, but it's not as easy as the personal line of credit. Okay? So here's the actual strategy. Paycheck in, expenses out, rinse and repeat over and over again. And this is the same strategy right here. Paycheck in, expenses out, rinse and repeat over and over again. Right? So let's go ahead and do this. We're going to re-engineer our finances. So we have $10,000 of credit card here, right? So what happens if we just go ahead and move it right here? 10000, okay? Well, if we move it, guess what happens? This turns to 0 and this turns to 0, right? And now we got to calculate our cash flow. Whoopsie, not x2 minus x3, it's c2 minus c3. It's going to be $2,000. So if you take a look here, we went from 1,600 to 2,000 without making more money. Isn't that simple? Oh my goodness, my mind is blown. Okay, so now what we're going to do is calculate the next month's balances, which is essentially, so let's go ahead and do this. The previous month's balance plus the previous month's interest minus this number right here. So 2016.21, this cash flow number, right? And we got to calculate the interest, okay? So the interest is calculated by the average daily balance, multiply it by 0.15, which is the interest rate, and then divide by 12, because that's the monthly interest. And then we just copy and paste these formulas, right? All we got to do is copy and paste these formulas. And then as you can see, after 6 months, bam, we paid off 10K in 6 months. Oh my goodness. So we got to write this as our milestone. So 10K, 6 months. That was easy. Okay. Now we have 2 more loans, auto loans and mortgages. Okay. So here's the deal. If we have a 15% interest rate, it might not be in our best interest to pay off or transfer as much debt possible to that line of credit, unless we get a significant amount of cash flow. Okay. And one of the things I want us to talk about is the amount of money that we get when we pay off a debt compared to the payment amount. They call this cash flow index, but think about it like this. Would you pay $22,000 to get $410 back, or $200,000 to get $1,000 back, right? I would pay $22,000 to get $410 back first before I pay $200,000 to get $1,000 back. And here's the other thing too. Most people, right? Most people would think it's insane to use a line of credit to help pay off these debts. And the reason I would use a line of credit, and I haven't really explained this, is to prevent something called a segregation of income, so you can put your paycheck into one place. And when you're dealing with a lower interest loan, really you don't have to transfer the whole thing to a line of credit. You could just transfer an amount from the loan to the line of credit that's similar to your income, and you'll see good results. Okay. Now, here's the thing. When it comes with amortization, loan amortization, we have a Velocity Banking calculator provided by Renatus. And this is where I first learned Velocity Banking from. And I actually make commissions off of selling their educational packages. Full disclosure, right? I'm they call it independent contractor marketer. All right. So once we just type in these values, okay, you'll see how easy it is to pay off these loans. And we have to find out what the loan balance is after 6 months. So let's just do it here. 22,000. We'll say car loan, 5 years, and then what is 4.5%. Okay, 4.5%. I'm going to calculate that. Okay, so now 4.5%. Okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look. Oh, where am I? 6 months. So now it's $20,000. Okay, and then we just plug it in our calculator and we'll figure out what the payoff is. So here's the thing. I was funny is like I was doing a velocity banking demonstration with a high-powered New York attorney, and she was making 50 grand a month, 50 grand a month, and she bought $1 million condo. Just random information, but yes, I do velocity banking presentations with other people, right? So not exclusive to here, but let's go ahead and fill this out. Okay, so original balance is 22,000. Current balance is 20,1560. 200,150.6. Okay. Interest rate is 4.5, 5 years, and what's the payment amount? 410.15. And then our line of credit interest rate, and we'll say we make $5,000. Living expenses, everything except the what we're trying to pay off. So it would just be these two. Okay. So 2573.64 is our expenses. 2573.64. Okay. And how much shall we move to our line of credit? We'll just say $5,000. And then it gets paid off to zero. Oh my goodness. 0.7 years. How much is 0.7 years? Oh, okay. So that's like what is it? So so 6 months is 0.5. So is it 1.2 years? I'm confused. All right, all right, so let me just do this. 0.7 times 12. And we'll go here. Whoopsie, what am I even doing? Okay, so 8.4 months plus 6 months is 14.4 months. Oopsie. Okay, and how much do we pay off? So it's going to be 32K. So 32K in 14.4 months. Okay, so now let's go to the next one, which is the mortgage, which is the final debt, right? Final debt. So we just put in the information, $200,000. What's the mortgage right now? So 200,000 at 4.5%. No, 5% for 30 years. And then we got to figure out at we'll say 15 months what the balance is. All right, so now the balance is 196.29. Okay, so let's go ahead and put that number in to our velocity banking calculator. All right, so that'll be 5%, 30 years, and what is the 1073.64 is the payment. 1073.64. And we're going to adjust this. So now our general expense is going to be $1,500. 5.5 years. Bam. Right? And so, as you can see right here, the traditional interest that you would have paid if you just followed the bank schedule is $174,000. When we did it this way, it's about $29,000. Woo! All right, so 5.5 years. So let's go ahead and do 14.4 divided by 12 plus 5.5. Yeah. And it put a dollar sign in front because it knows that time is money. No, I'm just kidding. So now we paid off 232. So 232K of debt in, hold on, 6.7 years. 232K, 6.7 years. And we're completely debt free. So this actually will go to 0, 0. Oh my goodness, 3,500 is our cash flow. And it was so easy. How easy was that? Can't believe it. Okay. Well, that's it for pretty much today. Let me just reload this one more time so we can actually see the results again. So let me go ahead and highlight this and make this green as well. Okay, so make this green and celebrate that we paid off $232,000, 6.7 years. And as you can see, the strategy, whether it's my real life scenario or just a fake scenario made up, is the same with Velocity Banking. Paycheck in, expenses out, rinse and repeat over and over again. Over and over again. That's simply it. All right, so again, before I sign off, I'm just going to make another plug for live stream. Leadership 101, March 30th, 2024, this Saturday, 6 p.m. Eastern, members only. Boom. And to join the YouTube channel, simply click here, YouTube, or I'm sorry, join. 99 cents a month. What are the two perks? You get the emojis and access to the exclusive once a month live stream. All right, everybody. Well, have a great day. And also, if you're interested in joining our group to learn more about financial literacy and real estate investing, we do have education we share. We do have studies, reviews, and all that good stuff. And go ahead and click the Google form link below if you're interested in that. Well, other than that, have a great day, and we will speak next time.